Your moment of truth. This is where excellence begins. Listen to me very carefully. What I'm about to share with you in the next 28 minutes is not just information about an exam. This is a blueprint for how to win. Not just pass, win. Not just survive, dominate. Not just get through, excel. Some of you are watching this feeling confident because you've been putting in the work. Good. That confidence is earned. Some of you are watching this feeling nervous, anxious, maybe even scared, because accounting doesn't come naturally to you. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. I respect that nervousness more than I respect false confidence. You know why? Because nervousness means you understand what's at stake. Nervousness means you care about the outcome, and caring is the first step toward excellence. But here's what I need to burn into your consciousness right now. Where you are at this moment is not where you have to stay. You are not limited by your past. You are not bound by what you knew when you started this course. You are not restricted by how well you did on homework. Listen to me. The past is done. What matters now, the only thing that matters now, is what you do with the time between this moment and Sunday, October 19th, 2025, at 11:59 p.m. Think about it like this. Imagine you're standing at the base of a mountain. Some people are standing closer to the summit than others. Maybe they started higher up. Maybe they've been climbing longer. But you know what? None of that matters once you start climbing. What matters is, are you moving up? Are you making progress? Are you climbing? Because the person who starts at the bottom but climbs beats the person who starts halfway up but sits still every single time. That's what this exam is. It's your mountain to climb, and I'm about to give you the MAP, the equipment, the strategy, and the mindset to reach the summit. But understand something. I can give you all of that, but I cannot climb for you. You have to make the decision, right here, right now, that you're going to do the work it takes to succeed. Some of you are watching this a week before the exam. Perfect. You have time to prepare excellently. Some of you are watching this 2 days before. Okay. You can still prepare strategically. Some of you are watching this the night before. Listen, you're behind, but you're not out. You can still fight. You can still perform. But you have to be honest with yourself about where you are and what you need to do. Here's how we're going to structure this journey together, and I want you to pay attention to every word. First, I'm going to give you complete transparency about this exam. Every detail, every requirement, every rule. No surprises, no games, just truth. Because you deserve to know exactly what you're facing. Second, I'm going to show you the preparation path. Not the easy path, not the shortcut path, but the proven path that separates students who score 95 from students who score 75. The difference between those students is not intelligence. It's not natural talent. It's work. It's strategy. It's discipline. Third, I'm going to walk you through execution. What you actually do on exam day, minute by minute, so there's no confusion, no uncertainty, no panic, just clear, focused action. And fourth, I'm going to connect this exam to your larger purpose. Because this isn't really about cost accounting. This is about you becoming the person who can handle hard things. This is about you developing the capacity to perform under pressure. This is about you building the identity of someone who doesn't make excuses, someone who makes it happen. Now, I told you I'm going to be honest with you, so let me be honest. Thousands of students have taken this exam before you. Some found it easy, some found it challenging, but the ones who succeeded, regardless of whether it was easy or hard for them, had one thing in common. They understood that success is not given, it's not gifted, it's not lucky. Success is earned through preparation, performance, and persistence. That's it, that's the formula. And by the end of this video, you're going to have that formula broken down into actionable steps. So make your decision right now. Are you going to be the student who watches this video, nods along, and then goes back to doing what you've always done? Or are you going to be the student who implements what I'm about to teach you? Because one of those students passes, one of those students excels, one of those students transforms. And the other one? The other one stays exactly where they are. Which one are you going to be? Let's go. The exam blueprint. Know your game plan. Before you can win any championship, you have to know the game plan. You have to understand the playbook. You have to study the competition. So let me give you complete clarity on every single detail of this exam, because knowledge is power, and I'm in the business of empowering you to win. This exam covers 5 chapters, and I need you to understand these aren't random selections. These 5 chapters are the foundation of everything else we're going to do in managerial accounting. Listen carefully. Chapter 1, Managerial Accounting and Cost Concepts. This is where you learn the language of accounting. Direct costs, indirect costs, product costs, period costs, fixed costs, variable costs. This is your vocabulary. You cannot have sophisticated business conversations until you can speak the language. Think about it like this. If you tried to do business in Japan without speaking Japanese, you'd be lost, confused, powerless. The language gives you access. Chapter 1 gave you the language of accounting. Chapter 6, Cost, Volume, Profit Analysis. This is where you learn to calculate break-even points, contribution margins, operating leverage. But more than calculations, this chapter taught you how costs behave. This is power. This is the difference between businesses that survive and businesses that die. When a manager asks, "At what point do we become profitable?" That's CVP analysis. When a company decides to expand or contract, that's CVP analysis. This isn't theory. This is the tool that determines whether 100 people keep their jobs or lose them. Chapter 2, Job Order Costing. This is where you learned how manufacturers track costs through custom production. Predetermined overhead rates, applied overhead, job cost sheets. This is how companies know what it actually costs to make something. Think about it. If you don't know your costs, how can you set prices? If you can't set prices correctly, how do you compete? Job order costing is the foundation of operational excellence. Chapter 4, Activity-Based Costing. This is where you learned precision in overhead allocation. Traditional costing is like using a shotgun. You hit the general area. ABC is like using a rifle. You hit exactly what you're aiming for. Companies that use ABC make better decisions because they have better information. Better information leads to better decisions. Better decisions lead to better results. Chapter 7, Variable Costing and Segment Reporting. This is where accounting becomes leadership. Variable costing versus absorption costing. Segment income statements. Contribution margin approach. This is how managers decide which products to keep and which to kill, which divisions to expand and which to contract. This is how resources get allocated. This is power at the highest level. Now listen to me. Do you see the progression? It's logical. It's intentional. It's strategic. First, you learn to classify, Chapter 1. That's foundation. Then you learn to analyze behavior, Chapter 6. That's understanding dynamics. Then you learn to track through systems, Chapters 2 and 4. That's application. Finally, you learn to use for decisions, Chapter 7. That's leadership. This isn't 5 random chapters. This is exactly how professional accountants think about business problems. And that's what you're becoming, a professional. 30 multiple choice questions, each worth 3.33 points. Total possible, 99.9 points. These questions come from your textbook test bank. Same question types you've practiced in Foundational 15 homework. Let me be very clear about something. I am not trying to trick you. I am not trying to make you fail. I am trying to verify that you've learned what I've taught. This exam is a mirror. It reflects back exactly how much work you've put in. If you've done the work, you'll see success. If you haven't, you'll see the truth. The mirror doesn't lie, and neither do I. You have 120 minutes, 2 full hours. That's 4 minutes per question average. That's generous time if you're prepared. You will not be rushed. You'll have time to read carefully, calculate thoroughly, and review completely. Time is not your enemy on this exam. Lack of preparation is your enemy. Self-doubt is your enemy. Anxiety is your enemy. But time is on your side. The exam is due Sunday, October 19th, 2025. at 11:59 p.m. Firm deadline, non-negotiable. Both attempts must be completed by this time. I chose Sunday night deliberately. You have the entire weekend, Saturday, Sunday, no work interruptions, no excuses about, I had to be at my job. You have time. What you do with that time is your choice and your responsibility. Now, some of you are already thinking, I'll wait until Sunday at 9 p.m. to start. Let me tell you something. That's a choice. That's choosing to add unnecessary pressure. That's choosing to risk technical problems with no time to fix them. That's choosing to give yourself less than your best chance. Is that the choice you want to make? Think about it like this. Imagine you have a flight to catch for the most important opportunity of your life. Dream job interview, once-in-a-lifetime chance. The flight leaves at midnight. Would you show up at the airport at 11:50 p.m.? No, you'd show up early. You'd give yourself buffer time in case of traffic, parking issues, security lines. You'd give yourself the best chance to make that flight because it matters. This exam matters the same way. Don't sabotage yourself through poor time management. That's not the universe being unfair to you. That's you being unfair to yourself. The two-attempt structure, your safety net, and your opportunity. Now I'm going to explain one of the most powerful features of this exam, and I need you to really hear what I'm saying. You get 2 attempts at this exam, and I keep your highest score. Let that land for a moment. 2 attempts, not 1. 2. Do you understand what that means? That means you have 2 opportunities to demonstrate mastery. That means if attempt 1 doesn't go the way you hoped, you're not finished. You get to come back stronger. That means the pressure is off to be perfect the first time. That means you have a safety net. But listen very carefully to what I'm about to say. This 2-attempt structure is not, I repeat, not, an excuse for you to show up unprepared to attempt 1. Don't you dare walk into attempt 1 casually thinking, I'll just see what's on it, then really study for attempt 2. That's foolish. That's wasteful. That's disrespectful to yourself and the opportunity. That's not strategy. That's self-sabotage. Think about it like this. Imagine you're an NFL quarterback. You have a championship game, 4 quarters to win. Would you throw the first quarter just to see what the defense looks like? And no, you'd play your hardest from the opening kickoff, trying to win decisively. Because maybe you dominate in the first half and the game is essentially over. Or maybe the first quarter goes okay, but not perfect, and now you have specific information to adjust your strategy for the second half. But you'd never waste the first quarter deliberately. That's not smart. Same principle here. Prepare fully for attempt 1. Give it everything you have. Then use attempt 2 if you need it to improve. But don't create a bad situation just to practice recovering from it. That's backwards thinking. Each attempt is a complete fresh start. When you begin attempt 2, you start from question 1 with a full 120 minutes. You don't continue from where you left off. Each attempt must be completed in one sitting within 120 minutes. After attempt 1, you see only your total score, not which questions you missed, not the correct answers, just your overall number, 87 out of 99.9, or 78 or 92, whatever you scored. Now I know what you're thinking. Dr. Fulmore, why can't I see what I got wrong? Here's why, and this is important. Because I don't want attempt 2 to be about memorizing which button you clicked. I want it to be about deepening your understanding. When you only see your total score, you have to think bigger. Which concepts felt uncertain? Where did I struggle? What chapters need more work? That broader reflection creates deeper learning. It's like this. If I tell you question 14 was wrong, you might just memorize, oh, predetermined overhead rate is calculated this way without understanding why. But if I tell you, you scored 78%, you need to strengthen your foundation. Now you have to think. You have to reflect. You have to diagnose your own gaps. That makes you a better learner, not just a better test taker. After attempt 2, or if you score 100% on attempt 1, you get full detailed feedback. Every question, every answer, complete explanations. But this doesn't release immediately. It unlocks 1 hour after the due date, Monday, October 20th, 2025 at 1 a.m. Why the delay? Because I will not allow students who finish early to screenshot questions and share them with students who haven't taken it yet. That destroys integrity, and integrity is non-negotiable. This delay protects you and the value of your degree. When you graduate and say, I have an MBA in accounting, that needs to mean something. The delay ensures it means something. The highest score between your two attempts becomes your final grade. Score 85 on attempt 1, 92 on attempt 2. You keep the 92. Score 94 on attempt 1, 88 on attempt 2. You keep the 94. The system automatically records whichever is higher. Strategy 1, the strategic learner. You prepare fully for attempt 1. You take it seriously. You give it everything. But you also view it as a learning experience. After attempt 1, you analyze your score, identify weak areas, review strategically, and return even stronger for attempt 2. This approach works beautifully for people who learn by doing, who need to experience something to truly understand it. Strategy 2, the decisive performer. You prepare completely with intention to crush attempt 1 like it's your only shot. You walk in like a star quarterback taking the field for the Super Bowl. Fully prepared, fully trained, fully committed. You score 93, 96, 98. Maybe you use attempt 2 to chase perfection. Maybe you're done. This works great for people who prefer to finish strong the first time. Both strategies are valid. Both lead to success. What's not valid is showing up unprepared and hoping for luck. Luck is not a strategy. Preparation is a strategy. Work is a strategy. Excellence is a strategy. And let me tell you something else about this 2-attempt structure. It's actually an act of compassion. Why? Because I've been teaching long enough to know that test anxiety is real. Bad days happen. Sometimes your internet fails. Sometimes your kid gets sick. Sometimes life happens. One bad day shouldn't define your understanding of cost accounting. The 2-attempt structure recognizes that you're human while still holding you to high standards. That's fairness. That's equity. That's me saying, I believe in you enough to give you 2 opportunities to show what you know. But don't abuse that gift by treating attempt 1 like it doesn't matter. It matters. Your effort matters. Your preparation matters. Treat it that way. Materials and proctoring. The rules that protect your investment. Now let's talk about what you can use during this exam and why the rules exist. I believe in transparency, so I'm going to tell you exactly what the rules are and exactly why they exist. No confusion, no ambiguity, just truth. You may use 1 sheet of notes, standard 8.5 by 11-inch paper, front side only. Must be handwritten or typed by you. Not photocopied from someone else. Not downloaded from the internet. Your work, your brain, your preparation. A calculator, basic, scientific, graphing, whatever you want. The math on this exam is straightforward. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Scratch paper, absolutely use it. Write out calculations. Don't try to do complex math in your head. Show your work. You may not use your textbook, your detailed class notes beyond that 1 page, your phone, the internet for searching answers, other people, any other resources, books, guides, or materials. Now, some of you might be thinking, Dr. Fulmore, these rules are so strict. Why? Let me tell you why, and I need you to really hear this. When you graduate with your MBA, when you walk into that job interview, when you put Master of Business Administration in Accounting on your resume, employers are going to trust that you earned it. They're going to trust that you actually know what your transcript says you know. Think about it like this. Imagine you need surgery. You walk into the operating room. The surgeon says, yeah, I got my medical degree, but honestly, I cheated through most of my exams. I don't really know what I'm doing. Would you let that person cut you open? N.O. You'd run from that hospital. That's why these rules exist, because your degree has to mean something. When a company hires you at $80,000, $100,000, $120,000 a year, they're making that investment based on trust that you have the knowledge your degree says you have. If accounting programs didn't enforce integrity, if people could cheat their way through, your degree would be worthless. Employers would assume you don't actually know anything. The rules protect the value of what you're building. They ensure that when you succeed, you know you succeeded honestly, and everyone else knows it too. They protect your investment of time, money, and effort. So yes, the rules are strict. Yes, the monitoring is real. But it's protecting you. Don't resent the rules. Understand that they exist to preserve the value of what you're earning. And let me say this directly. If you're thinking about cheating, if you're thinking about cutting corners, if you're thinking about finding an easier way, stop. Don't do it. Not because you'll get caught, though you will, but because you'll be cheating yourself. You'll be denying yourself the opportunity to prove that you can do hard things. You'll be undermining your own growth. It's like this. Imagine you're in the gym lifting weights. You could use lighter weights and pretend you're lifting heavy. You could ask someone else to lift for you. But who are you fooling? Not the weights, not other people, only yourself. And when you need actual strength in real life, you won't have it because you never built it. Same principle here. When you get into a real business situation where you need to actually know cost accounting, if you cheated your way through, you won't know it. And that's when the consequences become far more serious than a grade. That's when you fail in front of your boss, your team, your company. That's when you lose the job. Be honest, be excellent, earn your success. That's the only path worth walking. This exam is proctored using online software. Your video is recorded via webcam. Your audio is recorded. Your screen is recorded. The system monitors for suspicious behaviors. Now I can already hear some of you. Dr. Fulmore, I don't like being watched. This feels invasive. I understand. Nobody loves being monitored. But think about it like this. NFL players perform with coaches watching. Professionals work with supervisors observing. Leaders present with executives evaluating. Being watched while you perform is part of professional life. This is training for that reality. Plus, here's the truth. If you're doing everything honestly, the proctoring doesn't matter. It's only a problem if you're trying to do something you shouldn't be doing. So if you're planning to take this exam honestly, which you should be, then proctoring is just a background process. It doesn't affect you at all. Here's exactly what happens. Step 1. Click Begin Exam. Software launches. Step 2. System check. Webcam, microphone, internet. 30 seconds. Step 3. Show your photo ID to verify identity. Step 4. Do 360-degree room scan with webcam. Step 5. Exam begins. Recording continues throughout. You must have computer with webcam, built-in or external, working microphone, reliable high-speed internet, minimum 10 megabits per second recommended, updated Chrome or Firefox browser, Windows or Mac operating system, proctoring software installed 24 hours before exam. That 24-hour deadline is critical. Don't wait until 30 minutes before the exam to discover your webcam doesn't work or your internet is too slow. Test everything 24 hours ahead. Give yourself time to fix problems. It's like an NFL team checking their equipment before the championship game. A receiver doesn't wait until game day to discover his cleats don't fit. The team checks everything beforehand. They make sure all equipment functions. Prevention is better than emergency response. Set up your technology. Test everything. Follow the requirements. Then walk into that exam with your head high, knowing you're doing this honestly and excellently. Understanding what's really being tested. The deeper game. Now let's talk about what this exam is actually testing. Because if you don't understand this, you'll prepare wrong. And I refuse to let you prepare wrong when I can give you clarity. This exam is not testing whether you've memorized every definition in 5 chapters. It's not testing whether you can recite formulas like a robot. What this exam is testing is whether you can recognize accounting concepts when you see them and apply them correctly to solve problems. Recognition and application. Those are different skills than memorization. Let me break down the logic of these 5 chapters, because once you understand the why behind the structure, everything clicks. Chapter 1. The foundation, the language. This chapter gave you vocabulary, direct versus indirect, product versus period, fixed versus variable. This is like learning the alphabet before you can read. You cannot have sophisticated accounting conversations until you can classify costs correctly. Think about it like this. Imagine trying to call plays in the NFL without knowing the terminology. Run that thing where the guy catches it. Do that formation where people line up. You'd look foolish. You couldn't function. The language gives you power. Chapter 1 gave you the language of accounting. Chapter 6, understanding dynamics, understanding power, CVP analysis, break-even, contribution margin, operating leverage. This chapter taught you how costs behave at different activity levels. This isn't academic theory. This is the difference between businesses that survive and businesses that die. Here's the analogy. Imagine you're calling plays in a game. Understanding cost behavior is like understanding how the defense responds when you run versus pass. Run the ball, time of possession goes up, but scoring slows down. Pass the ball, risk goes up, but big plays become possible. You need to understand these dynamics to win the game. Chapter 6 teaches you how to manage the business. Chapter 2, job order costing, the tracking system. This is how manufacturers track costs through custom production, predetermined overhead rates, applied overhead, job cost sheets. Think of it like an NFL team tracking player performance. Every play is tracked, yards gained, completion percentage, tackles made. Job order costing does the same thing for production costs. It tracks exactly where every dollar goes in the manufacturing process. Without this tracking, you're blind. With it, you have vision. Chapter 4, activity-based costing, the precision tool. This is precision in overhead allocation. You hit exactly what you're aiming for. Here's why this matters. Imagine you're a coach trying to improve team performance. You could say, something's not working with our offense. That's traditional costing. Or you could say, our pass protection on third down against blitz packages from the left side is failing 68% of the time. That's ABC. Which diagnosis leads to better improvement? The precise one. Always the precise one. ABC gives businesses precision, which leads to better decisions. Chapter 7, variable costing and segment reporting, the leadership tool. This is where accounting becomes leadership. Variable versus absorption costing, segment income statements, contribution approach. Think about it like this. An NFL coach doesn't just have players. A coach has to decide where to deploy those players. Which positions get more salary cap space, which get less. That's resource allocation. Chapter 7 teaches you how to allocate business resources. Which products to keep, which to kill. Which divisions to expand, which to contract. This is power at the highest level. See the progression? It's intentional. Classify, Chapter 1. Understand behavior, Chapter 6. Track through systems, Chapter 2 and 4. Use for leadership decisions, Chapter 7. This is exactly how professional accountants think about business problems. You're not learning random, disconnected concepts. You're learning a framework, a system, a way of thinking. That's what separates amateurs from professionals. The 3 question types you'll face. Type 1, conceptual understanding. Which of the following is a product cost? True or false, fixed costs remain constant in total within the relevant range. These test whether you know definitions and principles. They're usually straightforward if you've done the reading and understood concepts. Don't lose points here through carelessness. Type 2, calculation and application. Calculate the contribution margin ratio. What is the break-even point in units? These give you data and ask you to calculate something specific. These test whether you can execute mechanics correctly. You've practiced these in Foundational 15. Do them the same way on the exam. Type 3, scenario analysis. Company X is making this decision. How would it affect reported income? Which costing method is most appropriate for this situation? These test whether you can apply concepts to real business situations. These require thinking, not just calculating. All 3 types appear on the exam. All 3 matter. You cannot afford to be strong in one area and weak in another. Excellence requires mastery across all 3. So prepare accordingly. Don't just practice calculations and ignore concepts. Don't just memorize definitions and ignore applications. master everything. That's what professionals do. That's what you're becoming. The preparation path, the work that separates winners from wishers. Now we come to the heart of everything, how you actually prepare for this exam. And I'm going to tell you something that might be hard to hear, but it's the truth, and you deserve truth. Most students prepare wrong. They think they're studying when they're really just exposing themselves to information. There's a massive difference. Let me explain something fundamental about how learning actually works. When you watch me solve a problem in a lecture, you're using the recognition part of your brain. You recognize concepts. You follow logic. You think, yes, that makes sense. That recognition feels like learning. It feels like you know the material. But recognition is passive. It's like watching someone else lift weights and thinking your muscles got stronger. It didn't work. You didn't lift anything. When you sit down with a blank piece of paper and try to solve a problem yourself with no guidance, you're using the recall and application part of your brain. You have to retrieve formulas from memory. You have to decide steps in order. You have to organize work. You have to catch errors. You have to complete the problem. That's active learning. That's what builds mastery. And that's what the exam requires. Think about learning to swim. You can watch videos of people swimming. You can read books about swimming technique. You can understand the physics of buoyancy and propulsion. But can you swim? No, not until you get in the water and actually do it. Doing is different from watching. Doing is different from understanding. Accounting is the same. You cannot watch your way to success. You cannot read your way to success. You have to do. You have to practice. You have to put in work. There are no shortcuts, none. Anyone who tells you there's an easier way is lying to you, or they're selling you something. The path to mastery is work. Always has been, always will be. So here's your preparation path. And I mean this literally. Follow these steps exactly. Step 1. Systematic problem reworking. This is non-negotiable. Go back to your foundational 15 homework for all 5 chapters. 1, 6, 2, 4, 7. These aren't just assignments you already completed. These are your training ground. These contain the exact question types you'll see on the exam. Here's exactly what you're going to do. Pull up Chapter 1. Foundational 15. Read Problem 1. Now close the assignment. Get blank paper. Solve the problem yourself without looking at anything. Not your previous work, not notes, not the textbook. Rely entirely on your own knowledge and memory. It's like this. Imagine you're a quarterback learning to read defenses. You can't just watch game film of other quarterbacks. Eventually, you have to take snaps yourself. Read the defense yourself. Make decisions yourself. This is your reps. No coach calling plays for you. No coordinator in your ear. Just you and the problem. When you finish, check your answer against what you originally submitted. If you got it right using the correct process, excellent. You've confirmed mastery. Move to problem 2. If you got it wrong or got the right answer through wrong process, stop. Figure out exactly where your thinking went wrong. Was it calculation error, conceptual misunderstanding, misreading the problem? Identify the specific issue. Understand why you made that error. Correct it. Then try the problem again. Do this for all 15 problems in Chapter 1. Then Chapter 6. All 15 problems. Then Chapters 2, 4, and 7. That's 75 total problems. Now let me be honest with you. This will take time. Probably 4 to 5 hours total. 45 to 60 minutes per chapter. And some of you are already thinking, Dr. Fulmore, I don't have 4 to 5 hours. Let me ask you something. You don't have 4 to 5 hours to prepare for an exam that's worth a significant portion of your grade? An exam for a course you paid for? An exam toward a degree you're investing in? Here's the truth. You do have the time. You just haven't prioritized it. You have time to scroll social media. You have time to watch Netflix. You have time to do a lot of things. You make time for what matters to you. So the question is, does this matter to you? Does your success matter to you? Does your future matter to you? If yes, then you find the 4 to 5 hours. You make the time. You prioritize your success. If no, then you don't, and then you live with the consequences of that choice. Think about it like this. Imagine an NFL coach who says, I don't have time to watch game film. Okay, fine. Don't watch film. But when game day comes and the team gets destroyed because they didn't prepare, don't be surprised. Don't complain. You didn't watch film, so you didn't know the opponent's tendencies. Cause and effect. You want to dominate this exam? Then put in the preparation now. Do the work now. Put in the hours now. Then you'll get results later. Step 2. Active video review, not passive watching. After reworking all problems, watch my foundational 15 lecture videos for each chapter, but watch them actively. Play the video until I present a problem. Pause. Solve it yourself before I show you the solution. Work through it completely. Then unpause and watch my solution. Compare your process to mine step by step. It's like this. Imagine you're a wide receiver learning route running. Your coach shows you how to run a curl route, but you don't just watch it 50 times and think you can do it. No, you run the route yourself. Then you have the coach watch you run it and correct your technique. Then you run it again. Action, feedback, correction, repeat. That's how mastery is built. If your process matches mine, perfect. You've confirmed understanding. Move on. If it doesn't match, analyze why. Maybe your method is valid. Maybe mine is more efficient. Maybe yours has an error. Think critically. Learn from the comparison. Step 3. Targeted practice for weak areas. After steps 1 and 2, you'll know exactly where you're strong and where you're weak. Maybe CVP feels solid, but ABC confuses you. Maybe you classify costs easily, but job order costing trips you up. Go to textbook end of chapter problems. Find 2 to 3 additional problems for chapters where you need extra practice. Work through them completely. Check answers. This targeted practice strengthens weak spots without wasting time on content you've already mastered. It's like this. If you're a running back and your pass blocking is weak, do you ignore it and hope it gets better? No. You do extra blocking drills. You work with the line coach. You watch film of great blocking backs. You target the weakness specifically. Same principle here. Step 4. Conceptual review and integration. While doing all this problem solving, also review conceptual content deeply. Read chapters asking, why does this principle exist? What business problem does it solve? When would managers use this? Watch my teaching lecture videos for strategic context. Review discussion posts to see how concepts apply to real situations. Build connections between abstract concepts and concrete applications. Understanding the logic makes principles memorable instead of arbitrary. It's the difference between memorizing random facts versus understanding a system. Here's what I need you to understand. This 4-step path is not optional. It's not suggestions. It's the proven path to success. Students who follow this process score 10 to 15 points higher than students who just review notes or skim the textbook. The difference is active practice versus passive review. Active practice builds mastery. Passive review creates false confidence that collapses under exam pressure. Think about it like an NFL team preparing for the playoffs. You can watch film all day, but that doesn't win games. At some point, you have to get on the field and run plays. Rep by rep, play by play, drive by drive. Practice wins games. Practice builds mastery. So you have a choice. You can do what I'm telling you to do and succeed. Or you can do what you've always done and hope for different results. But hope is not a strategy. Work is a strategy. Preparation is a strategy. Excellence is a strategy. What's it going to be? You decide. Right now. Choose wisely. The strategic note sheet, turning one page into your playbook. Now let me talk to you about your one-page note sheet, because most students completely miss the power of this tool. They approach it wrong, and it costs them points. I'm going to show you how to turn that one piece of paper into a playbook that helps you dominate. Let me tell you a story about 2 students from last semester. Student A created what I call an encyclopedia note sheet. They tried to fit everything onto one page. Tiny font, no spacing, every definition, every formula, every example we'd ever discussed. It looked comprehensive, it looked impressive, it looked like they'd prepared. But during the exam, student A spent 4 to 5 minutes per question searching through that cluttered mess, trying to find what they needed. They couldn't find things quickly. They wasted enormous time. They ran out of time completely. They left 5 questions unanswered. They scored 72 despite knowing most of the material. The note sheet actively hurt their performance. Student B created what I call a strategic playbook. Large, readable font. Lots of white space. Maybe 15 to 20 items total. Just the formulas they sometimes mixed up and the processes they wanted to reference quickly. During the exam, Student B glanced at their sheet occasionally, found what they needed in 5 seconds, applied it, moved on. They finished with 20 minutes to spare. They reviewed everything carefully. They scored 94. Same content knowledge, same preparation level, different note sheet strategies, 22-point difference. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Your note sheet approach can literally be the difference between a B and an A, between passing and excelling, between good and great. So let me show you how to build a strategic note sheet that helps you instead of hurting you. The right question to ask. The question is not, what should I put on my note sheet? The question is, what do I sometimes confuse that I want quick reference for? Your note sheet is not a teaching tool. It won't teach you material during the exam. It's a quick reference playbook for specific situations where you need clarity. Think about it like this. Imagine you're an NFL quarterback with a wristband of plays. You don't put every play you've ever learned on that wristband. You don't write out detailed explanations of how to run each play. You put exactly the plays you might call in this game, the formations, the key reads, the hot routes. Essentials only. Same principle for your note sheet. Essentials only. Not everything you've ever learned, just the things you might need to reference quickly. What belongs on your note sheet? Formulas you sometimes mix up. Contribution margin versus contribution margin ratio. Predetermined overhead rate versus applied overhead. Similar concepts with similar names that your brain might conflate under pressure. It's like having 2 plays that look almost identical. One is a play-action pass, one is a straight drop back. In calm conditions in practice, you can tell them apart. But under pressure, 4th quarter, championship game, defense blitzing, you might call the wrong one. Having them clearly written prevents that confusion. Multi-step processes where sequence matters. Steps to calculate unit product cost under job order costing. Listed in order. Steps to prepare segment income statement. Processes where skipping a step or doing them in wrong order creates errors. Think of it like a quarterback's pre-snap checklist. The quarterback knows how to run the offense, but they still use a mental checklist to make sure they don't skip something critical. Check the coverage. Check. Identify the mic. Check. Scan for blitz. Check. The checklist prevents errors under pressure. Your own memory devices. Whatever mnemonics or tricks you've created that help your brain specifically. Maybe you remember product costs stick to products, or fixed costs are fixed in total. Whatever works for you. What does not belong? Things you know perfectly. If you've calculated contribution margin 50 times and can do it in your sleep, don't waste space. You know it. Trust yourself. Basic definitions that are obvious. If you know fixed costs remain constant in total, like you know your team's colors, don't put it on your sheet. Anything that would take longer to find than to just remember. If you spend 2 minutes searching your note sheet for something, you've defeated the purpose. Design principles. Listen carefully. Clear visual structure with headers and sections. Maybe one section for CVP formulas, another for job order costing, another for ABC. Organize so your eye finds things instantly. Readable font, 11 or 12-point minimum if typed. Clear handwriting if written. Don't sacrifice readability for fitting more content. White space. Here's something that will surprise you. The best note sheets are 60 to 70% empty space. I'm serious. Because white space makes content findable. Clutter makes everything harder to find. Think about it like a coach's play sheet on the sideline, a cluttered sheet where plays are jammed everywhere. You can't find the play you need. A clean sheet with clear sections and organized plays. You find what you need immediately. Which would you rather use in the championship game? Same principle for your note sheet. Test your note sheet. Do this exercise. Put your note sheet face down. Set a timer. Think of something you included. Contribution margin ratio formula. Flip it over and find it. If that takes more than 5 seconds, your sheet isn't organized well enough. Redesign it. Also, solve several practice problems without your note sheet. See how much you actually need it. You might discover you know more than you thought, and the sheet is really just psychological security. And that's fine. Security reduces anxiety, which improves performance. The hidden truth. Here's something most students don't realize. Creating the note sheet is more valuable than using it. The process of deciding what to include forces you to evaluate your own knowledge. What do I know cold? What do I sometimes mix up? What's critical versus what's just nice to know? That metacognitive reflection is studying. It's like this. When an NFL coach installs the game plan for Sunday, the process of selecting which plays to use makes them think about the matchup. What are the opponent's weaknesses? What are our strengths? What plays exploit those matchups? The planning process is strategic thinking. Same here. Creating your note sheet is strategic thinking about the exam. So even if you barely glance at your sheet during the exam, the time creating it was worthwhile. But here's what I need you to commit to. Make your own note sheet. Don't copy someone else's. Don't download one from the internet. Why? Because someone else's note sheet was designed for their brain, their learning style, their areas of uncertainty. It won't work for you because it wasn't designed for your mind. It's like trying to use another team's playbook. Those plays work perfectly for them. For you, everything's confusing. You need your own playbook. Make your own note sheet. Designed for your brain. Organized your way. That's your tool. Make it powerful. Your timeline, the discipline of preparation. Now let me give you the exact day-by-day schedule for preparation. Some of you have a full week, some have only a few days. I'm going to show you how to make the most of whatever time you have. But understand this first. The more time you give yourself, the better you'll perform. Cramming is not a strategy. It's desperation. And desperation doesn't lead to excellence. If you have a full week, the path of excellence, Monday. Chapter 1, Deep Dive, 60 to 90 minutes completely focused. No distractions. NO phone. NO social media. Just you and Chapter 1. Rework all 15. Foundational 15 problems from scratch. Watch my lecture video, begin your note sheet. Chapter 1 is foundation. You must master it. No excuses, no shortcuts. By end of Monday, Chapter 1 should feel solid. Tuesday. Chapter 6. Deep dive. Same comprehensive process. Chapter 6 has heavy calculations, contribution margin, break-even, CVP analysis. This is where students make the most math errors. Take your time. Get it right. Watch lecture. Add to note sheet. By end of Tuesday, you should own Chapter 6. Wednesday, Chapter 2. Deep dive. Job order costing day. Rework all 15 problems. Pay special attention to predetermined overhead rates and applied overhead. That's where mistakes happen. Watch lecture. Add to note sheet. By end of Wednesday, you should command Chapter 2. Thursday, Chapter 4. Deep dive. Activity-based costing. This is conceptually complex. Give it your complete attention. Rework all problems. Understand activity rates and cost pools deeply. Watch lecture. Add to note sheet. By end of Thursday, you should master Chapter 4. Friday, Chapter 7. Deep dive. Variable costing and segment reporting. Rework all problems. Focus on differences between variable and absorption costing. Watch lecture. Finalize your note sheet. By end of Friday, you've touched every concept that will appear on exam. Every single one. You should feel powerful. Saturday, light review and rest. 60 to 90 minutes maximum. Skim foundational 15 work. Watch a few lecture segments at 1.5 times speed. Do one practice problem per chapter to stay warm. Review note sheet. Then stop. Do something relaxing. Listen to me. Your brain needs rest more than it needs more information. Rest is when learning consolidates. Rest is when short-term memory becomes long-term memory. Think about an NFL team. When do they have their hardest practice? Not the day before the game. They have their hard practices Tuesday through Thursday. Friday is a light walkthrough. Saturday is rest and travel. Sunday is game day. Why? Because the body and mind need recovery to perform at peak level. The hard work creates the stimulus. The rest creates the readiness. Same principle for your brain. Study creates the stimulus. Rest creates the readiness. Sunday, exam day. Don't cram in the morning. Eat breakfast. Tech check. Take exam when alert. Trust your week of preparation. This is the path of excellence. This is how students score 90 plus. This is discipline. This is commitment. This is what separates people who talk about success from people who do the work to achieve it. If you only have 3 to 4 days, the compressed path. You don't have time for the full schedule. You need to be strategic and efficient. Day 1, chapters 1 and 6. These are foundational. Everything builds on them. 90 to 120 minutes each. Rework foundational 15. Watch lectures at 1.5x speed to save time. Start note sheet. Don't skip these chapters. They're too important. Day 2, chapters 2 and 4. Both are about costing systems. 90 to 120 minutes each. Focus on big picture and major calculations. Add to note sheet. Day 3, chapter 7 and review. 90 to 120 minutes on chapter 7. Remaining time on light review of all 5 chapters. Finalize note sheet. Day 4, light review and exam. 30 minutes light review in morning. Tech check. Take exam. This compressed path can work if you're focused and disciplined, but understand you're giving yourself less margin for error. Make every minute count. If you only have 1 day, crisis mode. If you're watching this the day before or morning of the exam, you're in crisis mode. Accept that reality. You cannot do comprehensive preparation in 1 day. That's just truth. But you can do smart triage. Focus on your weakest chapters. Skim all foundational 15 homework. Don't rework it, just refresh memory. Create simple note sheet with formulas you need. Watch a few key lectures at 2 times speed, then stop and get good sleep. A rested brain with less preparation performs better than an exhausted brain with more preparation. The truth about cramming. Let me be very direct with you. If you're cramming, you've already made a mistake. You've waited too long. You've managed your time poorly. That's on you. I'm not going to shame you for it, but I'm also not going to pretend like cramming is equal to proper preparation. It's not. It's like this. Imagine an NFL team that doesn't practice all week, then tries to cram all their preparation into Saturday night before Sunday's game. They stay up all night watching film, running plays in the parking lot, trying to install the entire game plan in 12 hours. What happens on Sunday? They get destroyed. Why? Because you can't compress a week of preparation into 1 night. The body needs time to learn movements. The mind needs time to understand concepts. Learning doesn't work that way. But here's what I will tell you. Even in crisis mode, you can still pass. You can still do decent work. It won't be your best work, but it can still be passing work. So if you're in that situation, don't give up. Do what you can with the time you have. Then learn from this experience and don't let it happen again on exam 2 or exam 3. The key insight: preparation is a process distributed over time, not a single event. Students who spread preparation over several days consistently outperform students who cram. Time allows your brain to process, consolidate, and master. Cramming is just short-term memory that evaporates under pressure. You choose your path. Choose excellence if you can. Choose the best you can do if you can't, but choose consciously and own your choice. No excuses, no blame, just truth and results. The day before, strategic rest and final preparation. Let's talk specifically about the day immediately before your exam. Let's say it's Saturday and your exam is Sunday. This day is critical, but maybe not for the reasons you think. This day is not about learning massive amounts of new material. This day is about finalizing preparation, checking technology, and putting yourself in the right mental and physical state to perform excellently. What you should do: morning, early afternoon, light review, only 60 to 90 minutes maximum. Skim your foundational 15 homework, to refresh memory. Watch 1 or 2 lecture segments if you want to clarify something specific. Do 1 practice problem per chapter to keep your brain warm. Review your note sheet and make final organization tweaks. That's IT. Then stop. Listen to me carefully. At this point, your brain has absorbed everything it's going to absorb. More studying creates diminishing returns and can actually increase anxiety without improving performance. So be disciplined enough to stop. Think about it like this. If you're preparing for the Super Bowl, you don't have your hardest practice the day before the game. Why? Because your body needs rest to perform. Your muscles need recovery to be at peak strength. The day before the Super Bowl, teams do a light walkthrough. They review the game plan, they visualize, they mentally prepare, and they rest. That rest is not weakness. That rest is strategy. Your brain is the same. It's a muscle. You've been training it all week with Foundational 15 rework, lecture videos, practice problems. Now it needs rest to consolidate all that learning, to move information from short-term memory into long-term memory. Sleep is when that consolidation happens. Rest is when your brain organizes everything you've learned into accessible, usable knowledge. Late afternoon, evening, rest and logistics. Do something that relaxes you and brings you joy. This is not wasted time. This is strategic rest. Take a walk. Exercise. Physical activity reduces stress hormones and clears your mind. Watch something entertaining. Cook a good meal. Spend time with people you care about. Whatever helps you feel calm and positive. Think of yourself like an NFL team the day before the championship. Tom Brady didn't spend the day before the Super Bowl throwing 500 passes. No. He rested. He visualized success. He prepared his mind. He made sure his body was ready. He checked his equipment. He conserved his energy for when it mattered. That's what champions do. They understand that rest is preparation. They understand that recovery is as important as training. They understand that you cannot perform at peak level if you're exhausted. While you're resting, also handle your logistics. Complete proctoring software setup if you haven't already. Run the system check. Verify webcam works, microphone works, internet is stable. Test everything. Why? Because you don't want to discover technical problems when you click Begin Exam. You want to discover them now when you have time to fix them. It's like an NFL team checking their equipment before the championship. You don't wait until kickoff to discover the headsets don't work. You don't wait until game time to realize the uniforms are wrong. You check everything beforehand. You make sure all systems function. Prevention is always better than emergency response. Set up your physical exam space. Clear your desk completely. Only computer, calculator, note sheet, water. Nothing else. Create an environment of focus and clarity. Charge your laptop fully. Position your webcam correctly. Tell family or roommates you need quiet time tomorrow with no interruptions. Put a sign on your door if needed. Arrange for PETS to be secured. Think through everything that could interrupt you and prevent it now. Night before. Sleep is non-negotiable. Get good sleep. Minimum 7 to 8 hours. This is not optional. This is not a luxury. This is required for peak performance. Let me tell you something about sleep and cognitive performance. When you're sleep deprived, your brain operates at maybe 60 to 70% capacity. Your recall is slower. Your thinking is fuzzier. Your ability to catch errors decreases. Your anxiety increases. You make careless mistakes you'd never make when rested. Sleep deprivation is like an NFL player trying to play the championship game without warming up. You're handicapping yourself before you even start. But when you're well rested, your brain operates at full capacity. Information flows. Recall is quick. Thinking is clear. You catch errors. You stay calm. You perform at your best. Think about it like a smartphone. You have a phone at 30% battery versus 100% battery. Both phones have the same capability, the same APPS, the same potential. But the one at 30% is going to die before you finish what you need to do. The one at 100% will carry you through. Your brain is that phone. Sleep is the charger. Charge fully. Some of you are thinking, but Dr. Fulmore, I'll just drink coffee, energy drinks, stay up and study more. No, that's not energy. That's borrowing from tomorrow to pay for today. That's like an athlete taking performance-enhancing drugs that damage their body long-term for short-term gains. You'll pay for it during the exam when your brain crashes, when you can't focus, when exhaustion overwhelms you. Don't sacrifice sleep to study more. That's a terrible trade-off. Sleep matters more than those extra hours of cramming. What you should not do the day before. Don't do marathon study sessions trying to learn everything in one day. That's not preparation. That's panic. Don't stay up until 2 a.m. cramming. That's self-sabotage. Don't discuss the exam anxiously with classmates, amplifying each other's stress. That's just spreading fear. Don't neglect basic self-care like eating well and moving your body. That's disrespecting the vessel that has to carry you through this exam. Think of it like this. If you were an NFL coach preparing your team for the championship, would you exhaust your players the day before? Would you let them stay up all night? Would you let them go into the game hungry, tired, anxious? No. You'd make sure they were rested, fed, focused, and ready. You'd conserve their energy for when it matters. You'd prepare them mentally as well as tactically. You are the coach. Your mind and body are your team. Prepare them properly. Rest is not weakness. Rest is wisdom. Champions understand this. Now you understand this too. Exam day morning, your pre-game routine. Now we arrive at the morning of exam day. This is it. This is your moment. All your preparation has been building to this. Wake up like a champion. Wake up at a reasonable time. Give yourself enough time to wake fully, eat properly, and feel alert. Don't sleep until noon and try to take the exam groggy. That's starting the championship game before you've even warmed up. Think about it like this. Imagine an NFL quarterback on Super Bowl Sunday. They don't roll out of bed at noon and immediately take the field. No. They wake up early. They go through their morning routine. They eat a good breakfast. They do their pre-game preparation. They're fully awake and alert before kickoff. You're that quarterback. This exam is your championship game. Prepare accordingly. Fuel your engine. Eat a good breakfast with protein and complex carbohydrates. Your brain needs fuel. Taking an exam on an empty stomach is like trying to play a football game with no energy. You might start, but you'll fade in the second half. Eggs, oatmeal, toast, fruit, yogurt. Real food that gives sustained energy. Here's the analogy. Think of your brain like a player's body. Protein and complex carbs are the right nutrition. They provide sustained energy for the entire game. You perform strong from opening kickoff to final whistle. Sugar and simple carbs are bad nutrition. Quick burst in the first quarter, then you crash and can barely move in the fourth. Caffeine is like an energy shot, short boost, but can make you jittery and unable to focus. Feed yourself the right nutrition. You'll perform better and longer. Go easy on caffeine. 1 cup of coffee or tea if that's your routine. Fine. But don't chug 3 energy drinks thinking it will help. That's like taking too many stimulants before a game. You're so amped up you can't think straight. Moderate caffeine for alertness, not excessive caffeine for artificial energy. 30 to 60 minutes before, final equipment check. Do a complete technology check. This is your pre-game equipment check. Open proctoring software. Check. Verify webcam positioned correctly and working. Check. Check microphone. Check. Test internet speed. Check. Close all other programs and browser windows except what you need. Check. Think of this like an NFL team doing equipment checks before kickoff. The equipment manager doesn't wait until players are running onto the field to make sure helmets fit and pads are secure. They check everything beforehand when they can still fix problems. They go through the checklist systematically. Every piece of equipment, every detail. Why? Because once the game starts, it's too late to fix something that's broken. You're the equipment manager for your own performance. Your technology is your equipment. Check every system before kickoff. Look at your exam space. Everything cleared except computer, calculator, note sheet, check. Scratch paper ready, check. Water accessible but not where you'll knock it over, check. Phone silenced and in another room, check. Family reminded you need quiet, check. You're creating an environment of 0 distractions, maximum focus, like a locker room before the championship. Organized, focused, professional, everything in its place, everything ready, no chaos. only order and clarity. The exam itself, your game plan, minute by minute. Now we get to the moment itself. You click Begin Exam. Your 120-minute timer starts. What do? Let me give you the exact strategy minute by minute. Starting the exam. Enter your zone. Sit down. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. This is not superstition. This is neuroscience. Deep breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which counteracts anxiety and promotes calm, clear thinking. 3 breaths. Literally changes your brain chemistry from threat mode to clarity mode. Think of it like an NFL player before the game starts. Watch any great quarterback before kickoff. They're not frantic. They're not panicked. They breathe. They center themselves. They get into the zone. That's what you're doing. You're entering your zone of peak performance. Click Begin Exam. Follow the proctoring prompts. System check, 30 seconds. Show your ID. Do the room scan. Exam launches. 120-minute timer starts. First 5 to 10 minutes. Scouting the defense. Don't immediately start answering questions. Spend 5 to 10 minutes doing a quick scroll through all 30 questions. Don't answer yet. Just see what's there. Here's why this is critical. Imagine you're an NFL offensive coordinator before the first play. You don't just call a play blindly. You scout the defense first. You see how they're lined up. You identify their coverage. You spot their weaknesses. You understand the full picture of what you're facing. Then you make a strategic plan. That's what this reconnaissance does. It gives you the big picture. It shows you where the easy points are and where the hard questions are. It lets you make a strategic game plan for how to attack the exam. It also primes your subconscious. You might read question 18, then when you're working on question 5, suddenly the answer to 18 pops into your head. Your brain was working on it in the background. That's the power of scouting. Minutes 10 to 60, first pass, scoring easy touchdowns. Go back to question 1, start working through. But here's the key strategy. On this first pass, answer only questions you can do quickly and confidently. If you read a question and immediately know the answer it, move on. If a calculation looks straightforward and you know exactly how to solve it, do it, move on. But if you read a question and think, this will take time, or I'm not sure, mark it, skip it, move on. Think of this like an NFL offense with the ball. There are 30 opportunities to score, questions. Some are easy. Defense gives you a soft coverage, receiver wide open, you throw a quick touchdown. Some are hard. Defense is locked in, you'll need time and effort to break through. On your first drive down the field, you take the easy completions, you get into rhythm, you build momentum, you put points on the board. Then on your second drive, you can work on the harder defensive schemes. Your goal in this first pass, answer maybe 15 to 20 questions, banking 50 to 65 points quickly. Why does this matter? Because once you have 50 to 65 points secured, the pressure is off. You're already winning if the game ended right now. Everything else is padding your lead. That psychological shift from I need to score to I'm already ahead, now I'm pulling away is powerful. It reduces anxiety and improves performance. It's like being in a football game. If you score touchdowns on your first 3 drives, you go into the second quarter with confidence. You're ahead on the scoreboard. The pressure is on your opponent, not on you. That confidence affects how you play the rest of the game. Same principle here. Bank points early, build confidence, reduce pressure, then perform even better on the harder questions. Minutes 60 to 100. Second pass, breaking down the tough defense. Now go back to the beginning. Work on all the questions you skipped. These are your harder questions that require more time and thought. Now you can give them the attention they deserve without time pressure because you've already banked significant points. Use your note sheet strategically here. Glance at it to confirm a formula or process. But if you're staring at your note sheet for 2 minutes trying to figure something out, that's not helping. Your note sheet should be a 5-second reference, not a 2-minute study session. Think of your note sheet like a quarterback's wristband with plays. When you need to check the formation for a specific play, you glance quickly at the wristband, 2 seconds, get the info you need, eyes back on the field. You don't stop everything and study the wristband for 5 minutes. Same principle. Quick reference, then keep moving. Write out calculations clearly on scratch paper. Don't try to do complex math in your head even if you think you can. Why? Because written work prevents errors and it lets you check your work later. It's like leaving a trail of breadcrumbs. You can follow your own path back to see where you went if you need to. It's like this. Imagine you're a coach drawing up plays. If you just talk about the play without diagramming it, players might misunderstand. People might line up wrong. Routes might get confused. But if you draw the play clearly on the board, everyone can see exactly what to do. Same with calculations. Write them out. Make them clear. Then you can check your work. Minutes 100 to 115. Third pass, film review. Before the final whistle, you've answered all 30 questions. Now systematically review everything. Check calculations. Did you use the right formula? Are numbers reasonable, or did you miss a decimal? Reread questions carefully. Make sure you didn't misread not or per unit versus in total. Verify you clicked the answer you intended. Sometimes your brain thinks one thing, but your hand clicks another. Think of this like a coach reviewing plays before the clock runs out. The plays have been called, the drives have been run. Now before the final whistle, you review everything one more time. Did we execute correctly? Are there any mistakes we can fix? Any penalties we can avoid? This is your quality control. It's like this. Imagine you're a quarterback reviewing the game plan one final time before the fourth quarter. You've executed most plays. Before the final quarter starts, you review. Did I read the defense correctly? Did I make the right throws? Can I adjust anything? Same here. You've completed the exam. Before you submit, you do quality control. You check everything. You make it as perfect as you can. Minutes 115 to 120. Final whistle. Trust and execute one final scan. Make sure you've answered all 30 questions. No blanks left. Take one deep breath. Reflect for a moment. You prepared. You practiced. You executed. You should feel good about that, regardless of outcome. Think of yourself like a quarterback after throwing the game-winning pass. You've done everything in your power. You've executed the game plan. You've given it your all. Now you trust the outcome. You don't hesitate. You don't second guess. You trust your preparation and you finish. Click submit. The exam ends. Your score appears. Immediately, after post-game assessment, whatever your score is, take a moment to process it without judgment. If you're happy with it, excellent. Celebrate that victory. You earned it. If you're disappointed, okay, that's feedback, not failure. Don't spiral into negative self-talk. Don't catastrophize. Think of it like an NFL team after a game. The game is over. You can't change what happened on the field. You go to the locker room, you catch your breath, you listen to your coach, that's me, and you prepare for the next game, attempt 2, if needed. Or if you won decisively, you celebrate. But you don't stay on the field trying to run more plays after the final whistle has blown. The game is done. Let it be done. Don't immediately discuss every question with classmates. That creates anxiety you can't resolve because you can't change your answers now. Just let it rest. Take a break. Get up. Walk. Eat. Hydrate. Your brain just did 2 hours of intense work. Give it rest and recovery. If you're taking attempt 2, give yourself at least 24 to 48 hours. Your brain needs time to process and consolidate. After attempt 1, reading the stats and planning your next game. You've completed attempt 1. You've seen your score. Now what? Let's talk about how to read that number not as judgment, but as data, as information that tells you what to do next. Scenario 1. You scored 90 or above. The victory position. Outstanding work. You've demonstrated mastery. You've proven that you put in the work and it paid off. Now you have a choice, and this is your choice to make consciously. Option A. You're satisfied and done. A 90 plus is a strong A. If you're happy with this score, you're finished. Move on to the rest of the course feeling confident. Celebrate your success. You earned it. Take that win and carry that momentum forward. Option B. You want to chase perfection. Maybe you scored 92 and you want to see if you can hit 96, 98, or even 100. That's fine. Do a light review of concepts that felt slightly uncertain during the exam. Take attempt 2. but know that you're already in excellent shape. Either choice is valid. The decision is yours based on your goals and how much effort you want to invest for incremental improvement. But let me tell you something. Whether you stop at 92 or push to 98, you've already demonstrated excellence. The difference between 92 and 98 is 6 points, but the difference between someone who scores 90 plus and someone who scores 70 is the work, the discipline, the commitment you put in. That's what matters most. You've shown you can do hard things. You've shown you can prepare excellently. You've shown you can perform under pressure. Those are the real victories. The specific number is just a reflection of those victories. Scenario 2. You scored 80 to 89, solid with room to grow. Good, solid performance. This is B+ to A- work. You clearly understand most of the material, but there were some areas that weren't quite solid. Here's your action plan. Reflect on which topics felt uncertain during the exam. You won't know which specific questions you missed, but you can remember which concepts made you pause or which calculations took longer than expected. Maybe CVP break-even calculations felt shaky. Maybe activity-based costing allocation confused you. Maybe you struggled to remember the difference between variable and absorption costing. Identify 2 to 3 specific topics that need more work. Spend 3 to 5 hours between attempts doing targeted review on just those weak areas. Don't restudy everything. That's inefficient. Focus surgically on your gaps. Rework problems in those specific topics. Watch my lecture videos for those chapters again. Maybe do 5 to 10 extra practice problems on those topics. Then take attempt 2 with confidence that you've strengthened your weak spots. Listen to me. Students who score 80 to 89 on attempt 1 and do targeted review typically score 88 to 95 on attempt 2. That targeted practice makes a real difference. You're not far from excellence. You just need to strengthen a few specific areas. You can do that. You have the capability. Now you just need to put in the targeted work. Think about it like an NFL team at halftime. Maybe you're winning 21 to 17 going into the second half. Good position. But the defense noticed your pass protection is weak on the left side. That's your gap. You don't change your entire game plan. You target that specific weakness. You adjust your blocking scheme. You give extra help to that side. That's what you're doing here. Targeted improvement in specific areas. That's how you turn a win into a blowout. Scenario 3. You scored 70 to 79. Foundation with clear gaps. Decent foundation, but clear gaps. This score tells you that you understand the basics, but there are concepts that need more work. This isn't failure. This is progress with room for growth. About 30% of students score in this range on attempt 1, and most improve significantly on attempt 2 if they do the work. Here's your plan. Between attempts, you need more substantial review, maybe 5 to 8 hours of focused study. Don't just skim material. Actually rework problems, especially in the chapters where you felt weakest. Watch my lecture videos. Again, but actively. Pause and try to solve problems before I show solutions. Maybe attend office hours or work with a study group or tutor to get help on confusing concepts. Don't try to figure everything out alone if you're struggling. Get help. That's not weakness, that's strategy. Identify not just weak topics, but why they're weak. Is it that you don't understand the concept? Or do you understand it but make calculation errors? Or do you understand it but read questions too quickly? Diagnosing the specific issue helps you fix it effectively. It's like this. If an NFL team loses the first game 28 to 21, the coaches don't just say, "We played badly." They analyze. Was it turnovers? Was it red zone efficiency? Was it third down conversions? Once you know the specific problem, you can fix it. Same here. Don't just say, "I don't understand cost accounting." Be specific. I understand contribution margin, but I mix up contribution margin versus contribution margin ratio. That's specific. That you can fix. Then approach attempt 2, not as "I hope I do better," but as "I've practiced and I know I'm better prepared now." Listen, students starting from this range who do serious review between attempts often score 82 to 90 on attempt 2. The journey from 75 to 88 teaches you more about learning, persistence, and problem solving than just scoring 88 immediately ever could. That struggle, that difficulty, that's building character, that's creating resilience, that's making you stronger. Scenario 4, you scored below 70, significant gaps. Significant gaps in understanding. This score tells you that you need substantial work before attempt 2. This isn't catastrophic. It's feedback that you need to change your approach. Here's what to do. Don't immediately retake the exam hoping for better results through luck. That won't work. You need to do real work between attempts. Think of the days between attempt 1 and 2 as preparing for essentially a new game, because that's what it is. Rework all the foundational 15 problems for all 5 chapters. Not skim them. Actually rework them. Watch all my lecture videos again. Read the textbook chapters focusing on concepts you didn't understand. This is 8 to 12 plus hours of serious study. I'm not going to lie to you and say it's easy. It's not. It's hard work. But you know what? You're capable of hard work. You got into this MBA program. You've made it this far in the semester. You can do this. Consider getting help. Attend my office hours with specific questions. I don't understand how to calculate predetermined overhead rates, or I keep getting wrong answers on break-even problems. I can help you fix conceptual misunderstandings in 15 minutes that might take you hours to figure out alone, or work with the tutoring center, or form a study group with classmates. Use your resources. The key is, don't just do the same thing and expect different results. Change your approach. Put in more time. Get help. Then take attempt 2 when you genuinely feel more prepared. Listen to me. Students who score below 70 on attempt 1 and do serious work between attempts can and do score in the 75 to 85 range on attempt 2. It requires real effort, but it's absolutely achievable. You know what you are? You're like an NFL team that lost their first game. Now you have a choice. Give up on the season and quit, or get back up, watch film, fix your mistakes, come back stronger for game 2. I know which choice winners make. Get back up, watch the film, fix the mistakes, come back stronger. The season isn't over. You just lost one game. You have another game to win this. For everyone, regardless of score. After attempt 1, take at least 24 to 48 hours before attempting attempt 2. Your brain needs time to process and consolidate new learning. Taking both attempts on the same day, even hours apart, doesn't give your brain the processing time it needs to truly improve. Use your score as data to guide focused preparation, not as judgment of your worth. The score tells you where you are. It doesn't tell you what you're capable of becoming. Remember, employers never see individual exam scores. They see your final course grade. And honestly, most don't even care much about individual grades. They care about your overall degree and what you can do with the knowledge. So this exam is important for your learning and your course grade. But it's not going to make or break your entire career. Keep perspective. One exam doesn't define you. Your response to the exam defines you. Winners don't quit after setbacks. Winners learn, adjust, and come back stronger. Managing your mind, the psychology of peak performance. Now I need to address something that many instructors don't talk about, but that profoundly affects performance, the mental and emotional component of taking high-stakes exams. Because here's the truth. You can know the accounting perfectly, but if anxiety is overwhelming or your mindset is negative, you won't be able to access that knowledge when you need it. So let's talk about the psychology of exam performance and practical techniques to manage anxiety. Understanding what's happening in your brain. First, let's normalize what you might be feeling. Test anxiety is real, it's common, and it doesn't mean you're weak or unprepared. It's your nervous system responding to something it perceives as a threat. A little bit of anxiety is actually helpful. It sharpens focus, increases alertness, improves performance. The problem is when anxiety crosses from energizing into paralyzing. Our goal isn't to eliminate anxiety completely. It's to keep it in the useful range. Here's what happens physiologically when anxiety spikes. Your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, activates. This triggers the release of stress hormones like cortisol. Your body goes into threat mode. Blood flow shifts away from your prefrontal cortex, the thinking and reasoning part of your brain, toward your motor cortex, the action and movement part, because your body thinks you need to run from danger, not solve accounting problems. This is why anxiety makes it harder to think clearly. You literally have reduced access to your own knowledge and cognitive capabilities. Understanding this helps, because it means the feeling of my mind is blank isn't about not knowing the material. It's about your nervous system temporarily blocking access to that knowledge. The knowledge is still there. You just need to calm your nervous system to access it. Think about it like a quarterback under pressure. All the plays are there in his memory. He's practiced them 1,000 times. But if the pocket collapses and defenders are in his face, he can't access those plays clearly. Not because he doesn't know them, but because the conditions aren't right for clear thinking. Anxiety is the pressure in your brain. Calm the pressure, and you can access the knowledge. Practical techniques to manage anxiety. Technique 1, cognitive reframing. Instead of thinking, I'm nervous and nervousness is bad, think I'm energized and ready. This sounds too simple, but it's based on solid psychology. Anxiety and excitement create similar physical sensations. Increased heart rate, heightened awareness, butterflies in your stomach. But your brain interprets them completely differently. Nervous triggers threat response and makes anxiety worse. Excited triggers opportunity response and channels that energy productively. It's like this. Imagine you're a quarterback before the championship game. Your heart is racing. Your palms are sweaty. Your stomach has butterflies. Are you scared or excited? Both sensations feel almost identical physically, but your interpretation of those sensations determines your performance. If you tell yourself, I'm terrified, I can't do this, you'll play poorly. If you tell yourself, I'm excited, this is my moment, you'll play great. Same physical sensations, different interpretation, different outcome. Before the exam, literally say out loud, I'm excited to show what I know. Your brain will believe you, and that belief changes your physiology. Technique 2, the physiological sigh. This is a breathing technique from neuroscience research that immediately calms your nervous system. Here's how you do it. Take a deep inhale through your nose. At the top of that inhale, take a second shorter inhale, so you're inhaling twice. Then do a long, slow exhale through your mouth. Do this 2 to 3 times. What this accomplishes physiologically is it offloads carbon dioxide from your bloodstream, which signals to your brain no threat present, which reduces cortisol, which calms the anxiety response. It's literally a biological off switch for panic. Use this before starting the exam, and any time during the exam when you feel anxiety spiking. Think of it like a timeout in a game. Feeling panicked? Call timeout, breathe, calm, refocus, then get back in the game. Technique 3, grounding in the present moment. Anxiety lives in the future. What if I fail? What if I disappoint people? What if this ruins my GPA? But you can only take action in the present. When anxious thoughts spiral, bring yourself back to right now. Right now, I'm reading question 12. Right now, I'm applying the formula I practiced. Right now, I'm doing the next right thing. This mindfulness practice stops the spiral and redirects your energy to what you can actually control in this moment. It's like this. Imagine you're a running back with the ball. If you keep looking at the end zone thinking, it's 80 yards away, I'll never make it, you'll feel overwhelmed and probably fumble. But if you focus on the next block, break this tackle, find the hole, follow my blocker, gain yards, you keep moving, you make progress, and eventually you score. Same principle here. Don't think about the whole exam and get overwhelmed. Think about the question in front of you. Just this question, then the next one at a time. What to do if your mind goes blank. If you're working on a question and suddenly can't remember something you know you studied, don't panic. This is called retrieval failure, and it's temporary. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a breath. Think about the context where you learned this concept. Was it in a homework problem? in a lecture, in a textbook chapter? Often, remembering the context helps you retrieve the content. It's like when a quarterback forgets a play call. What do? They think back to practice. When did we run this play? What was the situation? Context triggers memory. If that doesn't work, skip the question and come back later. The answer will often pop into your head when you're working on something else because you've reduced the pressure. Your feelings don't predict your performance. Here's something crucial to understand. How you feel during the exam doesn't predict how you perform on the exam. You might feel confident and score 75. You might feel terrible and score 95. Emotions and performance are less correlated than you think. So don't catastrophize based on your emotional state. If you feel anxious, okay, that's just a feeling. Feelings pass. Keep working through questions methodically. Your feelings don't have to control your actions. It's like this. Imagine you're a kicker preparing for a game-winning field goal. You might feel nervous. Your hands might shake. But you don't let that stop you. You trust your technique. You trust your practice. You kick anyway. Anxiety is just weather. You can perform in any weather. Anxiety is the rain. You might feel uncomfortable. But you don't stop playing. You adjust and keep moving forward. Perspective. This is important, but not everything. This is one exam and one course in one semester of your life. It matters, yes, but it's not everything. It's not your worth as a person. It's not a referendum on your intelligence or your future. It's one assessment of your current knowledge. And knowledge can be built and improved. You're going to be okay regardless of what happens on this exam. Think about it like this. 5 years from now, will you remember your exact score on this exam? Probably not. But you will remember that you're someone who faced a challenge and handled it. That you learned complex material through persistent effort. That you developed capabilities that served you in your career. The score is temporary. The growth is permanent. Keep perspective. Do your best, but don't put so much pressure on yourself that you can't function. You're human. You're doing hard things. That deserves compassion, not harsh judgment. Why this exam really matters, your larger purpose. We're getting near the end, and I want to zoom out and connect this exam to your larger journey. Because it's easy to get so focused on the immediate task, passing this test, getting this grade, that you lose sight of why you're doing any of this. So let me remind you why this matters. What this exam really tests. On the surface, yes, this exam tests. Whether you've mastered cost classification, cost behavior analysis, costing systems, and performance evaluation. But what it's really testing, what matters more than any specific accounting concept, is whether you're developing the capabilities that define successful business leaders. Can you analyze complex information and make sense of it? Can you apply theoretical concepts to practical situations? Can you perform accurately under time pressure? Can you manage your own learning and preparation? Can you handle setbacks and persist through difficulty? These aren't just exam skills. These are professional competencies that will serve you for your entire career. Think about it like this. You're not in this MBA program to collect grades like trophies on a shelf. You're here to transform yourself. You came into this program as someone who works in businesses. You're leaving this program as someone who can lead businesses. That transformation requires developing new capabilities. This exam is part of that transformation. The knowledge becomes your tools. When you're a manager deciding whether to launch a new product, you'll use CVP analysis to evaluate break-even points and profit potential at different sales volumes. That's Chapter 6 in action. When you're evaluating which parts of your business are most profitable, you'll use segment reporting concepts. That's Chapter 7 in action. When you're deciding how to allocate overhead costs in your organization, you'll use the job order costing and ABC frameworks you learned. That's Chapters 2 and 4 in action. The content of this exam isn't academic abstraction. It's a practical toolkit for making real business decisions that affect real people and real money. It's like an NFL coach learning different offensive schemes. The spread offense, the West Coast offense, the power running game. Each scheme has a specific purpose. You don't learn about these schemes just to know about them. You learn to use them so you can win games, score points, build winning teams. Same here. You're learning accounting tools so you can build businesses, create value, make decisions that matter. The transferable skills matter more. But beyond the accounting content, this exam is teaching you transferable skills that matter even more. That to prepare systematically for a high-stakes performance situation that serves you when you're preparing for important presentations, client pitches, negotiations, job interviews. The ability to manage your anxiety and perform under pressure that serves you in every stressful situation you'll face professionally. The ability to recover from setbacks and improve through iteration that serves you every time something doesn't go perfectly the first time. These are the skills that get you promoted, that make you valuable, that build careers. So when you're taking this exam, yes, you're demonstrating knowledge of cost accounting, but more deeply, you're demonstrating and building professional competence. You're proving to yourself that you can handle challenges. You're developing confidence in your own capabilities. That identity. I'm someone who can learn difficult material, perform under pressure, and overcome obstacles, is worth more than any letter grade. The long view, what really matters. 5 years from now, you won't remember what you scored on exam 1. You won't remember the specific questions that appeared. You won't remember whether you got a 92 or an 88, but you will remember that you're someone who faced a challenge and handled it, that you learned complex material through persistent effort, that you developed capabilities that served you in your career. And let me tell you something I've observed over years of teaching and tracking students' careers. The students who struggle with exams often become the most successful professionals. Why? Because struggle builds resilience. Difficulty creates problem-solving skills. Having to work hard for understanding creates grit and determination. The student who breezes through every exam without effort often hasn't developed those crucial capabilities. They've never had to struggle. They've never had to persist through difficulty. They've never had to figure out how to overcome obstacles. But the student who had to really work, who had to overcome difficulty, who had to persist through frustration, that student has built character alongside knowledge. So if this exam feels challenging, if you're having to really work for success, that's not a sign of weakness. That's evidence of growth happening. Embrace the challenge. Let it build your capability. Trust that the difficulty is creating strength. You're becoming someone who rises. This exam is one more opportunity for you to prove, to yourself more than anyone else, that you're someone who rises to challenges. You're someone who does hard things. You're someone who prepares thoroughly. You're someone who performs under pressure. You're someone who learns from setbacks. You're someone who persists until you succeed. That identity, that character, is what you're building here. The exam is just the vehicle for building it. Your complete checklist and final call to greatness. We've covered tremendous ground in this video. Now let me bring it all together with a complete checklist you can use to make sure you've done everything you need to do, followed by my final words of encouragement. Your complete exam 1, preparation and execution checklist, content mastery. Reworked all foundational 15 homework problems for chapters 1, 6, 2, 4, and 7 from scratch. Watched all foundational 15 lecture videos actively, paused and solved before watching solutions. Read all 5 textbook chapters with focus on understanding concepts, not just recognizing them. Completed 2 to 3 additional practice problems per chapter from textbook end of chapter problems. Can explain major concepts in my own words and understand when to apply them. Tools and materials. Created strategic 1-page note sheet, front only. With only formulas I sometimes mix up and multi-step processes. Tested my note sheet by using it to solve practice problems. Can find what I need in 5 seconds. Note sheet is organized, readable, and designed specifically for my learning style. Checkmark have calculator ready and know how to use it. Checkmark have scratch paper available for calculations. Technical preparation. Completed proctoring software setup at least 24 hours before exam. Ran complete system check. Webcam works, microphone works, internet is stable, browser, Chrome or Firefox. Updated to latest version, cleared desk space of everything except computer, calculator and note sheet, put phone in another room on Do Not Disturb mode, informed family roommates not to interrupt during exam, know how to contact proctoring technical support if problems arise. Day before exam, did light review only, skimmed Foundational 15, watched 1 or 2 lecture segments, did 1 practice problem per chapter, finalized note sheet, checked organization 1 last time, set up physical exam space, and verified everything is ready. Got good sleep, minimum 7 hours. Exam day morning, ate breakfast with protein and complex carbohydrates. Limited caffeine to normal moderate amount. Did final tech check 30 to 60 minutes before starting. Took 3 deep breaths to calm nervous system before beginning. During exam, completed ID verification and room scan. Calmly. Spent first 5 to 10 minutes doing quick scan of all questions. First pass. Answered all questions I could do quickly and confidently. Second pass. Tackled harder questions using note sheet strategically. Third pass. Reviewed all answers, checked calculations, reread questions for accuracy, used time wisely, didn't get stuck on any single question for too long, managed anxiety using breathing techniques and present moment focus. After exam, reviewed my score without harsh judgment. It's data, not judgment. Made decision about whether attempt 2 is needed based on score and goals. If using attempt 2, waited at least 24 hours and did targeted review of weak areas. First, mindset. Remember, this is 1 exam, not my entire worth or future. Nervousness is normal and manageable. It means I care. 2 attempts means I have opportunity to demonstrate mastery when ready. Prepared the best I could with time available. Ready to show what I know with confidence. Critical details. Summary. Know this cold. Exam coverage. Chapters 1, 6, 2, 4, 7. Format 30 multiple choice questions, 3.33 points each equals 99.9 total. Time 120 minutes per attempt. Attempts 2 allowed, highest score kept. Due date Sunday, October 19th, 2025, 11:59 p.m. Firm deadline. Materials allowed 1-page notes, front only, calculator, scratch paper. Materials not allowed. Textbook, detailed notes beyond 1 page, phone, internet, other people, any other resources. Proctoring, webcam, microphone, and screen recorded throughout. Setup deadline. Complete proctoring setup 24 hours before exam. Feedback. After attempt 1, total score only. After attempt 2 or 100% on attempt 1. Full detailed feedback released 1 hour after due date. Monday, October 20, 1 a.m. If you need help, office hours, email, tutoring center, technical support through proctoring software. Final words. Your call to greatness. We've reached the end of this video, and I want to leave you with some final words before you embark on this journey. You're standing at a crossroads. Right now, at this very moment, you're standing at a crossroads. One path leads to mediocrity, doing the minimum, hoping for the best, making excuses when things don't go your way. The other path leads to excellence, doing the work, preparing thoroughly, rising to the challenge. Which path are you going to choose? Because that's what this is, a choice. You're not a victim of circumstances. You're not powerless. You're not helpless. You have agency. You have control. You have the ability to decide who you're going to be in this moment. Are you going to be someone who rises or someone who settles? You're more prepared than you think. Listen to me. You're more prepared than you realize. Every homework problem you worked through, that built understanding. Every lecture you engaged with, that created knowledge. Every discussion post you contributed to, that deepened comprehension. Every moment you spent wrestling with these concepts, that developed mastery. All of that is inside you now. It's part of you. It's accessible to you when you need it. Think about it like an NFL team going into the playoffs. Every practice rep they ran during the season, that built muscle memory. Every play they studied on film, that created recognition. Every game they played, that developed experience. All of that is now ready to be unleashed. You've built something, and that something is your knowledge, your capability, your competence. Don't doubt what you've built just because you can't see every practice rep from where you're standing. The preparation is there. The foundation is solid. Trust it. Whatever the outcome, you grow. Whether you score 95 or 75, whether you need one attempt or two, whether this feels easy or hard, you're going to grow from this experience. If you excel, you'll learn that hard work pays off, that preparation leads to success, that you're capable of excellence. That's growth. If you struggle, you'll learn about resilience, about persistence, about how to overcome obstacles. That's also growth. Maybe even more growth. So you can't lose. Either way, you learn. Either way, you develop. Either way, you become more capable than you were before. The standard is excellence. I'm not asking you to be perfect. I'm not demanding you score 100. I'm not saying you have to be the MVP. What I am saying is this: be excellent within your own capability. Give your best. Do your hardest work. Rise to your potential. Excellence isn't about comparing yourself to others. It's about comparing yourself to who you were yesterday. Are you better today than you were last week? Are you more prepared now than you were at the start of the semester? Are you more capable now than you were in week 1? If yes, then you're on the path of excellence. Keep walking that path. I believe in you. Now you believe. I've been coaching students through this course for years. I've seen thousands of students exactly where you are right now, feeling what you're feeling, facing what you're facing, and I've seen them succeed. Not because they were gifted, not because they were lucky, but because they chose to do the work. They chose to prepare. They chose to rise. You're no different. You have the same capability. You have the same opportunity. You have the same choice to make, so make the right choice. I believe in you. I've seen your work throughout this course. I've watched you grow from week 1 to now. You're ready for this, not because you're perfect, but because you're prepared, persistent, and capable of rising to challenges. Now it's time. Take the field. You know the content to study. You know the strategy to use. You know the mindset to adopt. You have everything you need. All that remains is execution. So execute. Take everything I've taught you in this video and implement it. Don't just nod along and then do what you've always done. Change your approach. Elevate your preparation. Commit to excellence. And when you sit down for that exam, when you click Begin Exam, when that timer starts, remember who you are. You're not just a student taking a test. You're someone who does hard things. You're someone who rises to challenges. You're someone who persists until you succeed. You're someone who's becoming a leader, a professional, someone who makes impact. This exam is just one more opportunity for you to prove that to yourself more than anyone else. So go show what you know. Go prepare excellently. Go execute confidently. Go perform at your best. And regardless of the outcome, know that you gave it everything, that you showed up, that you did the work, that you rose to the challenge. That's what winners do. That's what professionals do. That's what champions do. That's what you're becoming. I'm proud of your progress. I'm confident in your capability. I'm cheering for your success. Now go. Go ace that exam. You've got this. For real, Dr. Fulmore, believing in you every step of the way. Now go make it happen.